Hi, welcome back to another Advocacy Update. I'm Jen Goodale, and we're joined today by Mark Belinsky to talk about the STAR Act, because what we know is that the Congressional Budget Office has basically overinflated the score, and it's making lawmakers hesitant to get this across the finish line.
That's right. This year, the STAR Act has got more than 2/3 of Congress in support, and the only reason really why it hasn't passed is some folks have got concerns over cost. And so we like to boil that down into two main talking points. The first one is that's an awful message. So wrong message and wrong math. So imagine saying that to a combat injured veteran and saying, wow, you're just too expensive. That's the wrong message during a recruiting crisis. And also, the math is way off. So there's only 52,000 roughly combat injured folks. And
would all of those 52,000 benefit from concurrent receipt?
No, they would benefit from an open season. And so getting the option to choose which one is more financially beneficial. What they receive now, their combat-related special compensation, which is tax-free, or their medical retirement pay, which is calculated for years of service and grade achieved, which will benefit those who had longer years of service, generally probably those more than 10 years of service,
okay,
which is about half. So it'll really financially benefit certainly about half, particularly those who are seriously injured. And it's the right thing to do, right message for the all-volunteer force. And that's why I think we've got a good shot this year.
And it's part of our advocacy in action. Again, the goal is to tell lawmakers, hey, even though CBO has estimated it's this cost, we know that, number one, it's the right thing to do, and number two, it's not going to be that expensive. So what's our messaging this year?
So the message is that the Congressional Budget Office didn't factor in a 5-year phase-in and did not factor in the open season. And when you factor both of those in, it really reduces the cost by half. They earned every penny of their medical retirement pay through extraordinary sacrifice. And if you want to continue to support the all-volunteer force, people have got to trust that if they're injured in combat, they're going to be taken care of. And right now, it feels like we're achieving some savings on the backs of combat injured by reducing someone's retirement pay. And that doesn't sit well with anyone in the community. And so what we're really talking about is a very small portion of retirement funding that these folks earned. They earned the hard way. And it is DOD's responsibility to pay that retired pay, but Congress has got to authorize this with the STAR Act.
Yeah, and you're gathering your coalition together on March 5th to go to the Hill in advance of our advocacy in action to specifically talk about the STAR Act. What can our members do to get engaged with that activity?
I think the number one thing you can do is go on the Legislative Action Center and hit the call to action button to support legislation on concurrent receipt. I think the next thing you do is activate your network and get your friends, family, and other veterans networks involved and be part of that one voice concept on March the 5th, as well as in our spring advocacy campaign in April.
And the specific ask is not just to co-sponsor, right? We've got enough co-sponsors
right.
to move this. The specific ask is to get this in the base text of the National Defense Authorization Act, right?
That's right. When you develop your relationships with your lawmakers and their staffs, it's important to know what the specific ask is and say, thank you for co-sponsoring this bill, but please work with leadership to make sure it's in the base text of the NDAA.
Well, Mark, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your insight on the STAR Act. And make sure you're subscribing to the Advocacy Update as well as the MOAA newsletter so that you can learn more about the STAR Act and ways for you to get engaged. We'll see you next week.